Today on the Commanders Report, we got a bunch of great Commanders news and rumors to cover with you guys today. First up, we're going to be talking about a new report from Adam Schefter that says that Jayden Daniels is likely going to be the pick for Washington at number 2 overall. Then we'll get into a mock draft where somebody has the Commanders taking J.J. McCarthy at number 2 overall. We'll talk about that as well. And then we'll get into an interesting trade rumor surrounding Terry McLaurin potentially being sent to the Buffalo Bills after Stefon Diggs was sent to the Houston Texans earlier this week. And before we get into today's news and rumors coverage, make sure you click that thumbs up icon so we can beat Tyler Smith's Seahawks Today crew that just had a really good day the other day here. 824 likes is pretty good there, Smitty. But you know what? This Commanders Report crew, we know what's what. We're going to get at least 1,000 likes on today's show.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think this Commanders crew can get anywhere near the amount of likes that my Seahawks Today crew can get. The 12s have your number. Listen, we took Sam Howell from you. We're going to take the like battle from you as well. So, I don't know. If you're up to the challenge, maybe you could give it a shot, but I have no faith in the Washington Commanders community.
As you can see, Tyler Smith likes to run his little dirty mouth right here on the Commanders Report. Shut him up right now by clicking that thumbs up icon to start off today's show. So let's get into today's top story, which is that ESPN's Adam Schefter says that LSU quarterback and last year's Heisman Trophy winner Jayden Daniels is likely going to be the pick for Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and the Washington Commanders at number 2 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. This is what Schefter had to say earlier this week. I know we're not supposed to spoil picks, and we'll see how the Commanders decide to move forward with the number 2 overall selection. I think the signs continue to point to Jayden Daniels being the 2nd overall pick. Seems like he's popular in the scouting community. Seems like he'd bring a lot of the attributes that the Commanders would like in their future franchise quarterback. And honestly, guys, I agree with Schefter. I think that the right pick here is Jayden Daniels, LSU quarterback, over a guy like Drake Maye, because I think that the balance when it comes to the prospects here in terms of the upside versus the low side, I think Jayden Daniels brings that balance that you're looking for. And also, guys, Daniels has a top 30 visit scheduled with the Washington Commanders later this week, so we'll cover how that goes on the channel when we get more information. But when we talk about Jayden Daniels as a prospect and why I think he should be the pick for the Commanders at number 2, you take a look at the balance between how high the upside is for a player versus the bust potential of a player. And I look at a guy like Drake Maye, who still has significant footwork issues leading to significant accuracy issues. And although those things can be fixed at the next level, and it's certainly possible that that will happen, I think Jayden Daniels brings a certain electricity, a certain ability to throw the deep ball here, and a certain amount of playmaking right away as a prospect. He still has that high-end upside that Drake Maye has as well. I think Jayden Daniels has the upside to be a perennial MVP candidate in this league. And listen, he's not a perfect prospect by any stretch of the imagination. I think that he takes way too many big hits. I don't think he throws over the middle of the field as much as he should, but he definitely has enough there, in my opinion, to think that he can play in this league from the word go, and I think that he could be a perennial MVP candidate eventually, whereas a guy like Drake Maye has that high-end MVP caliber upside, but then he still has some things that he needs to work on in his first year in the National Football League, and that's not something that I'm interested in playing with here, especially with Jayden Daniels still on the board. So let me know down there in the comment section, would you be happy if the Washington Commanders drafted Jayden Daniels with the number 2 overall pick in this year's NFL Draft? Type H if you'd be happy about it, or type N if you wouldn't be. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. So now we shift from Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye in that discussion to the Washington Post's Jason LaCanfora, who is one of their sports writers there at the Washington Post. And I think you can kind of see why this guy works for the Washington Post, all right? Because he has the Washington Commanders taking J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan at number 2 overall over both Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels. This is what Jason had to say about what he's hearing about the Michigan quarterback. Sometimes the betting markets reveal impending reality, and I am inclined to believe there is merit to the Michigan QB's rising odds to go second overall. McCarthy being a top 5 pick shouldn't come as a shock if you've been reading along, even with his opportunities limited by Michigan riding its running game, and his maturity, coachability, and overall quality are shining through in the staged environment of scripted spring showcases. When I asked an evaluator for comparisons for the top 4 QBs, he said this about McCarthy. Looks like another Brock Purdy to me. Commanders GM Adam Peters was part of the brain trust that took Purdy in San Francisco, although that was in the final round. It was actually the final pick. Some also have used Kirk Cousins, whom 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan drafted and championed in Washington as a comp. He's the kind of point guard who really fits that offense. One agent who got to know most of the leading men in this class as he recruited them, but who does not represent McCarthy, said his maturity is off the charts. Owners will fall in love with him. And this from a GM who was at Michigan's Pro Day but does not anticipate being in position to take a quarterback this high. He kind of blew me away. I wasn't really expecting it. It was an elite performance. Now, coming up here, I'm going to let you guys know whether I think there's any chance J.J. McCarthy becomes the pick and the next franchise quarterback for the Washington Commanders. But before I get into that, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Guys, I'm somebody that likes to get tickets last minute, whether it be a concert with my girlfriend Cassie, or if I want to go to an MLB baseball game or an NBA basketball game with my boys here at Chat Sports. All I have to do is put out my Game Time app. I look through their super easy to use interface, and I have the peace of mind of knowing that you get the lowest price on any ticket to any event, because Game Time has the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to be looking at all these different ticketing apps to try to find a better price. You're going to find the best price on Game Time, and it's guaranteed. Plus, if you're somebody like me that likes to get tickets last minute, then you can also benefit from their flash deals that happen right before the event starts, which drives the prices down even lower with those flash deals. So Game Time is the only ticketing app on the market today that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy them, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the arena, and you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. So all you gotta do is download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS, one word, all caps. You can see it right down there in the bottom of your screen for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. In my opinion, guys, this J.J. McCarthy nonsense is absolute madness. I would go as far to say there is no way J.J. McCarthy is the pick for the Washington Commanders over guys like Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye. Plain and simply, guys, because I just don't see the high-end upside and all the high-caliber throws that you want to see on a prospect's film on J.J. McCarthy's film. In fact, I compare his film more closer to Bo Nix and the kind of throws that he's making. Lots of checkdowns, lots of throws close to the line of scrimmage, and I'm just not sure how much that translates to the NFL game. And I really do think that the hype surrounding McCarthy is a smokescreen from teams like the Giants, from the Minnesota Vikings, from the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos, hoping that one of their opponents goes out and takes McCarthy so they can get the guy they really want when their draft selection comes up. So you take a look at my scouting report from McCarthy, and guys, I have a late round 1 grade on him. He could become a legitimate starter in this league, but my comp for him, and Giants fans might not like this comp here, but I think he's kind of similar to Daniel Jones. He can move a little bit, but he's not an elite rusher with the football, and he has a difficult time seeing and throwing the ball down the field consistently with accuracy, all right? There's just not a whole lot of high-level NFL caliber throws on his film, and part of that is that Michigan's offense just really rode the run game and really just tried to dominate the clock, and there's just not a whole lot of volume there. But when he's throwing down the field, he's got accuracy inconsistencies, and it really is all over the film there, and really his higher-level throws are when he's outside of the pocket and when he's making plays with his arm. out of structure, all right? So I really don't see a super high-end MVP caliber quarterback here, and that's on the upside, guys. I think he could be a decent NFL starter someday, but he has some development in order to get there, and I just don't really see the super high-end upside that I see with guys like Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye, and even Michael Penix Jr., who I think does a much better job at identifying open receivers down the field, reading coverages, reading safety rotations, all these different things that pro quarterbacks have to do. I think Penix does an incredible job at that, whereas McCarthy, if he sees a rotating coverage or if there's something that confuses him in a post-snap rotation, he's just going to take the check down, and he's super conservative in that way. And that really does remind me of Daniel Jones, who is one of the most conservative passers in the National Football League. So for me, guys, I think if J.J. McCarthy gets taken in like that top 6 range, I think it's going to be a similar route for him as we've seen with Daniel Jones, where it's just going to be okay. He's going to be conservative with the football. When he throws it down the field, it's not going to be all that consistent. But even that, if you give him the right situation and you allow him to grow a little bit, I do think that he could become a decent NFL starter, but I really don't see like the super high-end upside that you would need in order to take him with a top 5 pick. I break down J.J. McCarthy's full scouting report in a video we put out earlier on the Commanders Report. So I'm going to put the link to that one in the comments and description so you can get my full thoughts on the Michigan quarterback here. So now, before we get into the rest of today's show, go down there in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about McCarthy. Do you think that he is worth a top 5 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft? I certainly don't think so, but let me know what you guys think. Give me a yes or no down there in the comment section to let me know what you guys think. Now let's move over to scary Terry McLaurin here, where an NFL analyst, Matt Lombardo, says that the Commanders should trade Terry to the Buffalo Bills after the Bills shipped out Stefon Diggs to the Houston Texans earlier this week. This is what Lombardo had to say about scary Terry. Given that the Washington Commanders are seemingly aiming to fast-track a rebuild, the Bills would be wise to gauge general manager Adam Peters' interest in dealing the dynamic pass catcher Terry McLaurin. And this is the trade idea that he presented in his article here, where the Bills would get scary Terry, and they get the Commanders' second round pick this year, so number 40 overall. And in exchange, the Commanders would get the Bills' first round pick, number 28 overall, so that'd give the Commanders a second first round pick this year, plus a second round pick in 2025, which would definitely help them out as they continue to build this team heading into the 2025 campaign. Now, let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. If you're Adam Peters, the Commanders GM, would you accept this trade? Type A for accept or type D for decline. Let me know how you're feeling about this potential trade idea. Now, personally, guys, I would not make this deal, and the answer to that is pretty simple. I don't think you're getting enough value for somebody like Terry McLaurin, who has been absolutely unbelievable throughout his career, despite having terrible quarterback play. I mean, when has this guy ever had even a top 20 quarterback throwing him the football? It hasn't happened, and he has been an 1,000-yard-plus receiver every single year in his career since 2020. So over the last 4 years, he's been a super high-end talent. He's somebody that's able to go, and he's able to get open, and he's able to create after the catch. He does it all, man. He's got good ball skills, good hands, all these different things Terry McLaurin brings to the table. You're going to need to provide a little bit more value, at least in my opinion, in order to get a trade for Terry McLaurin done. So this is what I would want if I were GM Adam Peters. I would want the first round pick this year from the Bills, number 28. I'd want their second round pick next year in 2025, and I'd want an additional fourth round pick this year at 128 overall. And then I'd give the Bills Terry, and then I'd give them a third round pick. I'm not going to be giving them another second round pick in this deal. No way. I think that this is much more commensurate with the value of Terry McLaurin. And Matt Lombardo, I think, gives it a nice go of it here. But if you're going to be giving up Terry McLaurin, you better be getting a pretty darn good deal. Now, before I go here, we do have some bad news here on the Commanders Report, and that is that recently signed quarterback Marcus Mariota is going to be wearing the number 0 next year as a backup quarterback. He's the first player in Commanders or NFL history as a quarterback to wear this number. And I just got to say it right now. This guy is not good enough to wear this number. I mean, you have to be incredibly good to wear number 0, at least in my opinion. And Marcus Mariota not only is not good enough to wear this number, he's nowhere close to it. He's been one of the worst quarterbacks that has hit the NFL field over the last 2 years. He completely crumbled in Atlanta. When they replaced him with Desmond Ridder, he ran away to his mom or whatever. And then he goes through Philly, and he does worse than Tanner McKee when they both got opportunities to play last year. So I don't want to hear anything from Marcus Mariota here, and he should not have gotten number 0. I mean, this is such a cool number, especially for a quarterback. I mean, and this is just not the vibe whatsoever. A backup quarterback wearing number 0. You know what, man? I actually think that it is a little bit appropriate here because number 0, that's the exact amount of touchdowns he's going to be throwing as a member of the Washington Commanders. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. I really do appreciate all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now for daily and free Commanders coverage all throughout the 2024 offseason.